Well, hello and welcome back to another video. Now I've come out this evening. I'm out pretty early, obviously it's still daylight as you can see. I've just got down to the beach. Now I have had one cast already. I had bait in the water for 5 minutes and we have a fish. So I have him here in a bucket of water. Now it's just a little schoolie bass, very small thing, literally only that big. I'm fishing running ledger rigs tonight, and ideally I'm after a Gilthead Bream, but I'll quite happily take some bass. Now, like I said, I just had one bait out. It was in the water no longer than 5 minutes. We've got an onshore wind today, which is pushing in quite a lot of weed, so I'm getting a bit of weed on the line. I had a slack line bite, but as I wound into it, I couldn't feel anything on it, so I left it as it was. Now, the line kept getting slacker and slacker. I was just assuming this was because of the wind and the tide pushing it in. So as I went to wind in, I saw a splash on the surface, felt a bit of weight, and we have a little schoolie bass. Now I've literally just wound it in. Like I said, I've got it in this bucket of water here. I'm going to release it in a second. I'm going to get baited up first, chuck it back out, then I'll get this fish back in the water. But I'll give you a little show now. So as you can see, he's still very lively, but he's just a little tiny bass. And like I said, I'm going to get another bait out first, and then we'll get him back. Now, as I said, I've got an onshore wind tonight, so at the moment I've got my back to the wind just to try and get a bit of shelter, less noise on the camera. I've got some lugworm here which I dug yesterday. I don't have loads, but should be enough for tonight. Some of them are pretty decent size. I've also got a couple of gaper clams with me. However, I'm going to fish straight lugworm to start with, and then when I start getting a bit low, I'll use some of the gaper clam to bulk it out a bit. The clams have actually been frozen twice already, so I don't have loads of confidence in them. They'd be great for the bass, but I'm here just on a punt really, just to see if there's going to be a Gilthead Bream lurking about. Now I'm having trouble seeing myself. I've got that sun right in the corner of my eye here. But very simple rigs, simple bait. Pull that down, and that's our bait ready to go out. That was actually a really bad cast. Swung that way further round to the left than I wanted it to go. Now I've got the rod raised up a little today, just to keep it out keep the line out of the water as much as possible. So let's see if we can get into another fish. So I did say it was a mini fish, and I meant mini when I said it. But there we are, one little bass taking on that lugworm, literally a tiny bambino. Whoa! So let's not waste any time. Let's get this guy back. So nice to get a fish on the board straight away, even if it was only 8 to 10 inches long. Now I'll try and do my best with the filming tonight. It is pretty windy, but to be honest, that's the whole reason why I came here. Now I've been out a fair few times lately, and I've had a few bass whilst bait fishing, but nothing really considerate to put a whole video together. So what I might do is link some of that footage to this, depending on how tonight goes. If this one's got enough to bulk out a whole video, then happy days. But yeah, I have had a few bass lately. There are quite a few bass around at the moment. I've had them on bait and lures, but they're all small. I've caught nothing over £2 in over 3 months, I reckon. So although it provides a lot of fun when you're going out, trying to find a bigger bass really is proving difficult, really difficult. Now, if we're lucky, we might get a Gilthead Bream tonight. That would make my evening. But we'll see what happens. Anything good happens, I'll put the camera on and I'll let you know. Well, I just had a good bite then. Something definitely had a go at it. I'm just going to leave it for now, see if it comes back. A good couple of taps then. I'm guessing it's another schoolie bass. I'm getting more taps now. I think this is just going to be small bass hitting the bait. I've had a good few rattles on that now. Well, I just missed that last one. Unfortunate. But came back and the bait was destroyed. I'm actually going to downsize the bait, because if there's a lot of bass about, I'm going to burn through it pretty quickly. Good bite then. Come on. Well, they're rinsing my bait, these little buggers. Getting some good hits, but I can't connect to them properly. So I've gone for a bit of a cocktail here. Gaper clam, lug and white rag. You can see in the background there, the sun's about to go down. It's going to set in about 25 minutes, half an hour. And that coincides bang on with high water. Now, believe it or not, that cocktail bait I put out with the gaper clam, one lugworm and one white ragworm, I've not had a single stiff on it. This is my 4th cast. I've been getting bites every cast. So I'm just going to leave that for 5 more minutes, and then I'm going to wind it in and go straight back to straight lugworm. So I'm just fishing my rod at a bit of an angle now. So the line's going down here like that. And I don't know if you can see on the camera, but you can see the rod's slightly bent over to that way. So I'll be able to see if I get a bite a lot easier. So fresh bait out. No more bites in the last sort of 15-20 minutes though. Now as that tide's pushing up, I don't know if you can see on film, but there's a bit of weed on the beach here. And it's just floating around in the shallows. Further out it doesn't seem too bad. There is a bit of weed about, but it's definitely nothing major. So we'll just see what happens over the next half an hour or so. Hopefully I can show you another fish or two. Fish on. This feels like a better fish. Please stay on there. And I hope I'm recording. This does feel like a better fish. Whoa. Could just be the tide, but I'm swimming this way. Come on, what are you? Is it going to be a bass? Oh, it's near the shore. Come on. It is a bass. Nicer size as well. Lovely job. That's actually a beautiful bass that, and that put up a brilliant fight. Cracking fish. Get in. Well happy about that. Right, what I'm going to do is unhook this fish, get it in the bucket and get a bait straight back out there. Well, here we go, this fish taken on the pennel hook. Whoa. Those circle hooks, brilliant things. Oh, I'm shaking. That's a cracker, that. I'll get it in the bucket and I'll give you a better show afterwards. Well, that has got me absolutely buzzing. And like I said at the start of this video, that's no monster, that bass. It's probably 3.5 pounds. But yeah, lovely fish. Now, I've obviously gone back to just straight lugworm. And I threw that out. It was out for maybe 5 minutes. I was just sat on my box there, watching the rod, and I saw it just go bang, bang again. Got up, lifted into it, and it was on. That fish put up a really good fight. For the size of it, a very good fight. Sometimes bass can be a little underwhelming. Sometimes you get the ones that go like steam trains, and yeah, sometimes they just swim right towards you, but that one, I could tell that was a good fish. Part of me thought it was a gilthead. But I've got it in the bucket of water, that yellow bucket just behind me. So that's going to revive nicely. It's hooked perfectly. But I want to get a bait out. If there's bass of that stamp around, I want to catch another. Now I am getting low on lug. Oh, bloody happy about that. So let's get this bait out, see if we can find another one. So I've just got a fresh bait out. Now, got the rod tip just up there, so I'm keeping a close eye. Now, I'm fishing with my drag set really tight. There's no drag whatsoever. And I prefer it like that. I want to be able to pick the rod up and wind into a fish straight away. Now, it would make sense using a live liner, Now those are reels I've actually had my eye on for quite a while, and I'll be ordering a couple in the near future, especially for Gilthead Bream and bass fishing. But anyway, if I keep looking up, that's the reason. Now we've got that bass in this bucket of water. He's pretty lively. So I'll have to look in my box. I'm not sure if I've got a measure on me. Come here, mate. Whoa! But that's what we're talking about. That's a lovely bass, that. I'd say that was, it's a good 3.5. I don't think it will go 4. And I'd say it was maybe a 55, possibly a 55 centimetre. But yeah, cracking bass. And it's actually quite a very dark colour. It's quite a reefy looking bass to say on fishing over relatively clean ground. But what a fish. Has absolutely made my evening. Really, really happy about that. Gotta love bass fishing. Slack line. Nope, he's gone. Bugger. Well, I was just eating a sandwich. I'm going to leave that there for now. I was just eating my sandwich here, keeping an eye on the rod. Had a very subtle hit, and then another hit and the line went slack. That was a fish hitting it, swimming towards me, but it's not hooked up. I'll check that bait in a second, because it's probably taken the bait. So that's how it's looking now. Sun's gone down, coming into darkness. Got the moon up over there. Beautiful orange sky out there. You can see the sea's still choppy with that onshore wind. The tide's actually dropped quite a bit now. We're a good 40 minutes into the ebb of the tide, so I'm not going to be staying too much longer. Literally just put a fresh bait out, so I'll sit back, keep an eye on the rod, see if we can end the night with another fish. But it's been a good one so far. Just had a good hit. Good hit then. Well, I missed it, but do you know what? I reckon that was a gilthead. They're very finicky bites, very quick, almost like a shuddering type of bite. I could be wrong, could have been a small bass nibbling it, but I picked the rod up, I held it in my hand for ages. I could feel it coming back for it every now and then. Ah, oh, gutted. Now I'm really running low on bait, but if the fish is still biting as that tide's dropping, I'm definitely going to stay. Use it up. Yeah! Oh, that's just popped off the hook. Now I'll tell you what, the way that fish took, I thought I was into another good one. I think it was foul hooked maybe. Come here, mate. So another little bass, just a small one this time, another little schoolie. So I'm going to get him back straight away. But the way that fish took gave me a big slackline bite, really big slack liner. I thought it was going to be another 2.5, 3 pounder. But still a bass nonetheless. They're still here, the fish, so I'm going to keep on fishing while I got that bait. What a session. There we go. Let's get him back into that surf. So I'm pretty happy about that. Really good to get into a few fish tonight. Now I've probably got enough bait left for maybe 2 casts. Tide's dropped loads, so I'm really far from the tide now. But there's no real point moving down because I doubt I'll be here much longer. But I'm going to use the bait up, so yeah, we'll see if we can find another fish. So I actually think this may be the last cast because I'm very, very low on bait. In fact, I'm going to put it all on to this. Actually, I'm going to keep one lugworm behind because I still have those gaper clams as well. So I'm just going to keep one decent lugworm behind. And I can always just stick a bit of gaper on if I want to have one more cast. Well, there we have another juicy bait. So that's it for this evening. I'm back in the car now, absolutely covered in sand. All my gear is covered in sand, but that's how it goes when you're fishing off a beach. Now, it was a really, really enjoyable night. I'm really glad I went out. We had 3 bass in the end. Now, I did actually end up keeping the bigger one. I haven't kept a bass in ages, so I thought, you know what, why not? The amount I throw back, I take about, I'd say, half a dozen a year. So it's a great eating size. Just weighed it, and it was bang on 3 pound. I haven't measured it, but I'm guessing it's about 55. Now, the lugworm was definitely the bait of the best bait tonight. I didn't even bother using the gaper clams in the end. I had 1 cast with a mixed bait of gaper and a bit of ragworm with some lug, but didn't have a sniff on that, so it was a lugworm that was doing the trick. Yeah, I went and dug that yesterday, so it's always satisfying when you've gone out and dug bait, catch a few fish on it. Now, like I said earlier in the video, I actually went out and did a bit of bass fishing off the beach. I was, well, actually targeting Gilthead Bream, but I've caught a couple of small bass here and there. So yeah, I'll either link that to this video or I'll leave it for another time. The bass have been pretty small lately, so it was nice to get one a little bit bigger today. It's no monster by any means, but yeah, put up a really good fight, so I couldn't be happier really. Now I'm going to leave it at that. It's coming up to midnight, so I'm going to get home, get some rest, and we'll be back out fishing sometime next week. Now, if anyone's interested, I've got some t-shirts for sale, which are on my website. They're reduced at the moment. They're £22 with free shipping. £5 of that £22 is going to be donated to the RNLI, if I can say that right. So please, if you want a t-shirt and want to support a great charity, head over to my website, fishingwithcal.com. If you're in Guernsey, they're also available at Yak Wax as well. So head down there and yeah, my brother will sort you out. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. It's been a very enjoyable evening, and I'll see you on the next one.